I'm Jim Collison, and this is the Wellbeing at Work podcast recorded on December 8th, 2021. In this CliftonStrengths podcast, we'll look at the strengths, insight, and action planning items from Appendix 1 in the Gallup book, Wellbeing at Work, one theme at a time. And today's theme is command. If you're listening live, love to have you join us in our chat room. There's a link right above me there if you're not already there. If you are, you've been checking in. Thanks for doing that. If you have questions after the fact, you can always send us an email, coaching@gallup.com. Dr. Jacqueline Robinson is our host today. She works as a learning and development consultant and was the primary contributor to Appendix 1. I don't know when you found time to do that, Jacqueline, in the Wellbeing at Work book. It's always great to be with you. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's always good to spend time with you. Yeah,
it's
no,
so exciting.
it's. I always do these. The only reason I do these is to spend time with you. So it's just an excuse. It's just
the community with you. You can't be beat.
We are spending some time looking at command. Give us the basic definition of command.
We often think of people high with command as having a presence or air about them. So, they're capable of taking control of a situation and they can make decisions.
We had a good pre-show conversation, a good reason to come out and join us live. But let's talk a little bit about how does it relate to you, and then maybe how does it relate to others?
I think about how it relates to you. If this is you and you're a person high with command, you may feel you can take the lead on your life and the decisions that need to be made with clarity. That's a keyword there. You can just move forward with confidence and clarity. And then when we think about how you relate to other people, people may look to you to cut through emotional discord or confusion to get everyone moving forward in that same direction.
I find in those kinds of situations where things are out of control, there's people actually looking for that, right?
Yes.
They're like, would somebody please take charge, right? It's not going to be me. They say it's always me when those kinds of things happen. But I do find, and I think folks high in command do bring this amazing ability to bring order to chaos in social situations, right? To say no, in the ones with high maturity can do it in a way where it's just smooth and elegant, and it makes people feel comfortable, right?
Yes.
And that it's a real talent and it's a real skill to be able to get that done. We're thinking about that in the context of well-being through this. And so how does that theme look, struggling versus thriving?
If I think about the person thriving as a natural leader, someone high in command is likely to thrive when they're, able to call the shots in their life, but also help others navigate through change, goals, or challenges. Struggling, though, I think about someone with command and, they're not in a capacity to lead, particularly if a situation calls for more stability and clarity. I think that could be particularly difficult to just kind of have to sit there and not create this call to action for themselves and other people when you can see and recognize that people need that sense of stability and clarity.
That struggling may then lead them to say things like, yeah, I don't want to, or I don't have time to be, or I don't have the emotional energy to engage, right? In a way that could be productive. They step away, they step back from a situation that they need to step up and be a part of. In the book, in Appendix 1, we look at each of the 5 elements with command. Let's pick one of those and kind of walk our way through that with command.
Yeah. So for command this time, I wanted to choose one we might not think about. Sometimes I do think we'll drift towards work. So from a social well-being standpoint, when someone high in command is trying to connect with others, sometimes they can come across as too strong. So what I think about here is allowing others to really converse with you, where you're listening and you're looking for common ground, and that common ground can really help you establish a relationship and bring forward a deeper friendship. It's kind of taking a pause and not wanting to control the situation or the conversation and find that common ground and just go a little deeper. They start to see more of that personal or emotional side.
Sometimes that confidence too, just the confidence that there's somebody like there's somebody in charge, right? Can bring people back, right? Can bring people back from the brink and create this kind of emotional stability. We think about those 4 needs of followers, And I think command oftentimes brings this ability to have high stability in it because people go, okay, whew, one less thing I have to worry about kind of in there. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah. I like that. I think to your point, they can create that foundational piece of stability and then people um can kind of build off of that where okay, now we know
Hmm.
what's stable. Let's connect
Hmm.
with each other. How do we want to take our thoughts or ideas or commonalities and then drive them forward
Mm.
together? We'll be in this together as a unit.
I like that last bit. We'll be in this together as a unit, and I think that word "together" is key in this. And
Mhm.
people need that. They're looking for that, right? Their own stability in that. We have four
Yeah.
other elements that Jacqueline's provided there in the back of the book. If you want to look through the other four, some great tools there as we think about strengths in relation these themes in relation to those five elements, as
Yes.
well being. So, Jacqueline, for those with command, how can they really use that to support others? What's some practical ways to look at that?
If I think about this person being a manager,
Hmm.
this person can help the team make progress toward goals or initiatives by providing clarity and direction, especially I think during times of change in the workplace. Going right back to what you said with stability, they become that point of stability and kind of that beacon of light to help people grasp onto something and then have the capacity or wherewithal to then move forward. From a team's perspective, I think this person is really adept at being able to guide the team to results by ensuring everyone plays a role and knows how they contribute to that goal. Um, there might even be times when they could be that natural leader and it just makes sense. And then there's other times if they're really perceptive or have that sense of emotional intelligence to really recognize that, hey, maybe I should be a guide or a facilitator in this moment to allow others to kind of take a step up and build a deeper team connection or that sense of camaraderie. And then last but not least, if we think about this person from an individual perspective, taking a pause and just listening to feedback or direction of another person or colleague, I think that can go a really long way because you're open to different perspectives. And as someone that usually has the reins of a situation, allowing someone else
Mhm.
to just give their own thoughts or perspective can make that person feel really seen, heard, and valued. Where it's wow, they want to hear from me. Wow, they respect my voice. There's a lot of power in that since they might not always give that up to other people.
This this may be a hard question. I didn't prep you for it, but as we think about command in and this is we've been going through this same format of managing, leading a team, or being on a team, and then as an individual, we don't often think of command in the individual space. How do
Hmm.
you think if we look at that theme based on individuals and the benefit that brings that I bring back to myself? Can you expand on that a little bit more? Do you have any
Yes.
thoughts on that?
Um, I, someone high in command tends to have and enjoy the ability to take the lead over their own
Mhm.
life.
Mm,
I think
mm,
sometimes it might feel
mm,
like it overlaps a little bit with
mm,
self assurance because they like
mm,
having that lead, but someone with command, they're going to want to have the reins. And I think um, when they start to feel like they're thriving less and struggling more is when someone is trying to hamper that and kind of
mm.
suppress it and
Yeah.
tell them what to do or not allow them to have so much control. And they probably have more of that personally, depending on relationships, but maybe in the workplace, especially, I think it'd be pertinent for managers or leaders to be aware of someone with command and recognize that they want to be able to control their life. And they like dynamic environments. I think sometimes we leave that part out. So
Mm.
if they're in an environment where there isn't things to maneuver and control and take the lead on, it can feel probably pretty
Ooh,
um what's the word I'm
yeah.
looking for? Pretty boring.
Stale. Yeah.
Stale. Yeah. They
Stale,
need a
no
little bit of that
challenge.
dynamic environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, I hadn't really thought through the concept of managing oneself and then providing enough challenge, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I think command likes challenge and
Yes.
like the challenge of the opportunities. So providing those challenging environments to win and compete and to finish and all those things that we talk about. I know I just named some other themes in there, but we know, I think we know what we're, I think we know it.
Yes.
So interesting there, Jacqueline. In Appendix 2, we really work through the framework of this. And I
Mhm.
think this framework is really great for coaches through each one of these well-being elements. So let's look at command. This framework is questions to ask yourself and ask your team members and then to take action on. Walk us through that with command.
Yes. And I've been picking through some of these different well-being elements, just thinking about the theme at hand. So with command, I would have someone with command ask themselves, let me think about days when I've had the most physical and mental energy. What do those days have in common? And I think about that question because that person high in command can then direct their life towards situations and people that give them energy. And really just pinpoint, where is that? Where am I getting the most energy? And let me make sure I'm steering my ship in that direction. In terms of asking team members, I think people high in command could ask a question like, if you could make one change for the better, what would it be? And then as that guide or facilitator, they have that confidence to help maybe guide them or lead them towards that goal that they have in mind or that change that they want for the better. Last but not least, we think about take action. So what can I actually do? I think about identify someone with a shared mission who encourages your growth and then spend more time with them. Um, what I think that does is someone high in command can often take for granted the perspective potentially of other people because they've got this ability to take control of their life. It's where they're at their best. But finding someone with that shared purpose or mission that has a perspective might offer new and enlightening ways of thinking, while also building that person up for feeling like they can contribute, to that person's
Mm-hmm.
thought process and ideas. So it works for both people. But I always think I know a lot of people with command always want to think about how can I continue to build and deepen relationships. And oftentimes they want that, but that presence might have other people go, no, I'm good with you continuing to take the lead. Keep doing it. Like, no,
Yeah.
but I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But people very, very comfortable in that space and just
Hmm.
saying, no, I will follow. I
Yeah.
will follow. Just tell me what you want me to do, and I'll do it. And that they're looking for that, right? I think
Hmm.
oftentimes the trick is not to misrepresent or not even lead the witness, so to speak, as we're coaching with this to say, oh, you have command, you must then like,
Yes.
and then start bringing in some of the negativity or bringing in some of the things that misrepresent, as
Hmm.
opposed to, man, I bet you're super great at doing this. I love these ideas of asking yourself, asking your team members, and then taking
Me
action, because it's
too.
it's really it's just really that name, claim, and aim kind of an extension of it. Get Here's some great questions, get some stuff rolling, and then take action at the end,
Hmm.
which is super great with that. Jacqueline, before I wrap it, anything else you want to add to this?
Um, I so appreciate people high with command that are
Mhm.
willing to take the lead and like to take the lead. And I I just think that's such a beautiful theme. And oftentimes you do want to build relationships. So I think for those that don't have command, it's also something to remember about them is they want oftentimes to build that relationship with others. And it might feel like it's just always towards task orientation, but oftentimes they're looking to hear different individuals' thoughts and ideas, depending on how mature the theme is. So if we're going back to,
Mhm.
do they have self-awareness of how it's showing up and they know it's also fruit step back and not always be leading, much different than someone that might not be as self-aware. So
Yeah,
I should disclaim I'm talking more about those that are self-aware and say, "Hey, I want to continue to
yeah.
deepen my relationship with you. Please give me your feedback. Please give me your thoughts and ideas. Take the lead sometimes. I'm okay with that." So I think that's important for all of us to acknowledge and remember.
We've got a little bit of a well-being, you know, need at the
Mhm.
moment, a crisis that's going on right now. And I think those of you listening to this, if you have command, I mean, we need everybody, but we really need you. Like, because
Yes.
we need that confidence, we need that stability, we need people who say, okay, I'm comfortable in this space, and
Mhm.
let me influence and lead you in a way to help get these things done. So by all means, do not do not think these are times for you to check out unless you need to.
Yeah.
But if you can, we need your help. Well, with that, we'll remind everyone, take full advantage of all the resources we do have available for you now in Gallup Access. Head out to gallup.com/CliftonStrengths for coaching, master coaching, or if you want to become a Gallup certified strengths coach, you can contact us, coaching@gallup.com. You can send us an email for all your questions for that as well. search for and find us on all the social platforms. Just today, we did a LinkedIn Live and an Instagram Live. And so maybe you want to follow us on those. Just search for Clifton Strengths on any of the platforms and find us, follow us there. If you're listening to this as a podcast, follow, subscribe, whatever the word is, do it so that you can stay up to date and you never miss an episode. We don't want to miss that with you. If you are hanging out with us on the live recording, stay around for some mid-show. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody.